It wasn't easy getting a reservation.
They're probably going to want us to give up our table. Mm-hmm. Getting a lot of dirty looks.
You know, in general, you always have to be careful.
So serious. I'm sorry.
And, you know, I've said I regretted having those dinners.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny, one of the creepiest, most evil, most malevolent, megalomaniacal control freaks who tried to make the world a worse place, and we must fight against him. His name's Bill Gates. He has been outed for lying once more about his relationship with known pederast and abuser and sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates was very, very close to Jeffrey Epstein, and we will actually detail all of the facts in this video. Bill Gates wants to lie to you on TV and tell you that they were just dinner party buddies. That's right. He just dined with him underneath that giant painting of Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress in his Manhattan hellscape whorehouse. Watch.
One of the issues that's dogged you is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that you're going way back in time. But yeah,
new audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
And that you regret the relationship, the acquaintance?
That I had dinner with him.
Mm. And the relationship between the foundation and Epstein, which
there never was any relationship of any kind.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and check the far right-wing conspiracy rag, the New York Times. What does the New York Times have to say, Bill, about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? New York Times says that Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein many times despite his past. Here's a great photo right there. Let's have a look. Who's that? Ah, good. There's Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein together. Let's just jump into this here from 2019. Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who committed suicide in prison. Okay, we automatically have a couple of issues with that first sentence, but let's continue. Managed to lure an astonishing array of rich, powerful, and famous people into his orbit. There were billionaires, politicians, Bill Clinton, Nobel laureates, and even royals, Prince Andrew. Few, though, compared in prestige and power to the world's second richest person, the brilliant and intensely private luminary Bill Gates. And unlike many, I'm not sure he's a luminary, and was he really that private if he's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? And unlike many others, Mr. Gates started the relationship after Epstein was convicted of sex crimes. Interesting, Bill. Well. Mr. Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, whose 100 billion plus fortune has endowed the world's largest charitable organization, has done his best to minimize his relationship with Epstein. I don't have any business relationship with him, he told the Wall Street Journal. In fact, in the beginning of 2011, Mr. Gates met with Epstein on numerous occasions, including at least 3 times at Mr. Epstein's palatial Manhattan townhouse, the one with the Bill Clinton painting, and at least once staying late into the night, according to interviews with a dozen people familiar with the relationship. Employees of Mr. Late into the night. Interesting. Mr. Gates' foundation also paid multiple visits to Mr. Epstein's mansion, and Mr. Epstein spoke with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, J.P. Morgan Chase, about a proposed multi-billion-dollar charitable fund, an arrangement that had the potential to generate an enormous amount of money for Mr. Epstein. His lifestyle is very different and intriguing, although it would not work for me, Mr. Gates emailed a colleague after his first get-together with Epstein. His lifestyle is intriguing. It wouldn't work for me, says Bill Gates, the guy who says it was a huge mistake to have fundraising meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. The guy who says that his divorce is directly because of Jeffrey Epstein. It's not just Bill Gates saying that. His wife literally said that. His wife said, you can't hang out with this pedo creep. And Bill Gates kept saying, he's intriguing.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him.
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in. I didn't
He was
realize
awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I
Okay, so Melinda Gates saying that Bill Gates is hanging out with evil personified. Interesting. Now that Jeffrey Epstein is dead, does that make Bill Gates evil personified? Bill Gates' divorce is a sad milestone. Friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, huge mistake. In a wide-ranging CNN interview, he talks about his personal life. Well, Bill Gates was doing this interview on Australian television when he said he just had dinner with the world's most predominant predator and sex trafficker. Just dinner late into the evening. It's a little odd. Let's go ahead and check in on One Nation Under Blackmail, the sordid union between intelligence and organized crime that gave the rise to Jeffrey Epstein. What does this absolute bombshell book have to say about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, and by the way, this is like the absolute summary of Jeffrey Epstein's life and his rise to power. What does this have to say about Bill Gates? Well, there's a very useful thread on twitter.com about it. Epstein had many millions in business links with Bill Gates. Well, that's interesting here. While working in 1995-96, Epstein victim Maria Farmer said Epstein described Gates as a close friend. In the 90s, Microsoft was in business with two separate businesses run by Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, that's confusing. Gates' former chief tech officer co-authored The Road Ahead. Was a passenger on the Lolita Express at least twice, according to flight logs, and stayed regularly at Epstein's house. So this is a man very close, chief tech officer. That's got to be like the number one position in Bill Gates' orbit, was flying on the Lolita Express, presumably down to Little St. James. In 2006, Gates hired Melanie Walker to serve as the senior program officer for the Gates Foundation. Previously, she had been Jeffrey Epstein's science advisor. So they're like swapping staff, like you'd swap spoons at a country buffet. Walker introduced Gates' science advisor, Borsik Nilovic, to Epstein. In 2016, Epstein, Gates, and Nilovic attended an event together with JP Morgan's Larry Summers. In 2014, Epstein directed Gates to invest $2 million in MIT's Media Lab. Wait a second. Epstein is telling Gates to invest millions of dollars into things? Huh? In 2013, Bill and Melinda Gates attended an event at Epstein's home. Melinda began counseling Bill to sever his Epstein connections. We played you the clip of her speaking for herself, saying that ended their marriage, among other things. Gates dined with Epstein in 2014 to discuss their collaborative philanthropy. Soon thereafter, the Clinton Global Initiative, Gates being one of the main benefactors, announced Hillary's No Ceilings Initiative, with Epstein's philanthropy closely tied. Epstein worked with the Gates Foundation to create the partnership with JP Morgan Global Health Charitable Fund, which Epstein would then receive funds. You're starting to see why these guys wanted Jeffrey Epstein gone. He had his hands in a lot of honeypots. Gates said Epstein was his ticket to winning the Nobel Prize. Let me repeat that. Bill Gates thought that Jeffrey Epstein was going to get him the Nobel Prize, per his staffer, to the Daily Beast. Norwegian media have reported that Gates and Epstein met personally for the Nobel Committee, ladies and gentlemen. So, he was trying to do this for fame and fortune. All these girls be damned, and Jeffrey Epstein himself be damned, because remember, he's dead now. Got it?
You know, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so in general, you always have to be careful.
Yeah, speaking like a really innocent person there, Bill. You know, he's dead. You always got to be careful, especially if you have all of the goods on my friends and I. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Bill Gates gave this ridiculous lying interview was because he was in Australia for the Australia Open, among other things. Bill Gates looks like that. That's what this is what the guy who's obsessed with your health looks like, ladies and gentlemen. The man who wants to control the health of you, your children, your life. Health personified, really. And this is definitely what dishonesty personified looks like. Straight up lying. Looking directly down the barrel of the camera and lying. Saying that you were just dinner friends. That's all, Bill Gates says. Bill Gates said he had dinner with Epstein, and that's all. Dude, I mean, seriously, not even the New York Times. Not even the New York Times believes you. And that's really, really bad. We've covered, ladies and gentlemen, the bombshell revelations from Tucker Carlson last week about Jeffrey Epstein's untimely death. And the reason we say it's untimely is not because we are any fan of Jeffrey Epstein, of course. Man is a monster. But we certainly are interested in the entire criminal enterprise. And we are also interested in what was the operation behind Jeffrey Epstein in the first place. Was he, as this book, One Nation Under Black Veil, says, was he an op from our intel agency in order to gather leverage and information on some of the world's most powerful people and bankers and politicians? Was this entire thing an op? And was Bill Gates caught in it? And did they tie up loose ends? Literally tie up loose ends when Jeffrey Epstein was put in prison and was going to go and cut a deal. As many of his associates say, he was going to cut a deal and give up the ghosts, tell everyone who he was sex trafficking to, the royal family, some of the most powerful people in America. Well, we may never know what's inside of Ghislaine Maxwell's little black book. We're not sure, but we can read this book, ladies and gentlemen, and it is damning. What do you think? Do you think that Bill Gates is innocent here and that he's just telling the truth for once in his life? Or do you think that this man is an absolute monster undone by his own hubris, his own pride, and his own desire to fulfill that black, empty soul that is left when you have more money than has ever been printed and you just don't know what to do with it? So instead of being a good person, well, you choose the dark side. And that's what Bill Gates has done. Let us know in the comment section what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, America is the best country in the world. It's worth fighting for, so we fight against people like Bill Gates on this channel all the time. We fight alongside with you, and it is a great joy. My name is Benny Johnson. See ya. Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. Their tears, they taste just like sweet, delicious ice cream. Salty, too. We ridicule the establishment and the libs because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you like what you saw, please punch the subscribe button, click like, and ring the little bell so that you know when we're live. Don't you want to know when we're live? And make sure that you subscribe to our email list just in case the plug gets pulled, as tends to happen. If you want to see more of our videos, click here or here. My name is Benny Johnson. Stay free, Base Patriots.